Hi everybody, it's Katie back with another episode of my vlog, and it's Sunday, so of course it's time for the Cinema Club Sunday Roundup. This week it is mostly Universal Pictures monster movies again, as we are diving into our October playlist. I will once again put a link to the Cinema Club playlist for October, or I guess it's a watch list, not a playlist, excuse me, down below so you guys can access that. We've been trying to stick with our list, but we knew when we made the list we weren't going to follow it super rigidly. Stuff happens. One of the kids got sick one night, so we subbed out a different movie for the one we were going to watch. Another night, we just couldn't find the movie we wanted to watch available on streaming, so we just quickly substituted something else. So if this doesn't match exactly with our October watch list, that's why. But rest assured, we have seen all the movies that we're skipping. So there you go. We started the week this week with The Wolfman from 1941, of course, starring Lon Chaney Jr. in the title role, with incredible performances from Bela Lugosi and Maria Ouspenskaya as the gypsies. They both kill it in their roles. The Wolfman is a character, he's named Larry, I want to say Talbot, but I might have that wrong. He's visiting the village where his dad lives. They're reuniting after some kind of falling out that they had. The whole thing opens with Larry fixing his dad's telescope and then testing it by looking in sort of the general shopping area of the village and basically being a total creeper about this young woman who is in her bedroom upstairs from the store where she works getting dressed. And then he proceeds to go into the store where she works and kind of shop, but kind of hit on her. And he's being kind of inappropriate. The kids were very keyed into it. They were like, he's a creep, get away from him. And it turns out they were right, because he winds up getting bitten by a werewolf and becoming the Wolfman. So yeah, he's a creep. Stay away from him. It's an incredible movie, incredible performances by everybody who's in it. Great early Wolfman makeup, although you don't see like a full transformation, because I think that was a little bit beyond the technical capabilities they had at the time. There's a great implied transformation sequence in this particular Wolfman movie. This is also one of the very first Wolfman movies, and so it predates the concept of transforming into a wolf when the moon is full. In this movie, you transform into a wolf when the wolfsbane is in bloom. So that's the trigger here. It's a great, really solid movie. It's kind of falls a little short of the other classic Universal monster movies, but it is really, really good. So I definitely encourage you guys to watch it. It's also, I've always thought of it as a metaphor for addiction or alcoholism. I didn't actually see anything about that when I was doing my quick research, but it's always seemed like the werewolf story is really a metaphor for, getting totally wasted and then waking up the next morning and going, oh my God, what did I do last night? I have no idea. I was totally out of control. So take that or leave it, but I do believe that is what that one is about a little bit. Interestingly, we do have Claude Rains, who played the Invisible Man in that movie, which we watched last week. He returns in this one as the Wolfman's dad, Larry. Again, I want him to be Larry Talbot, but I might be wrong about that. So anyhow, the Wolfman. We then moved from the Wolfman kind of backwards in time the next night and watched The Mummy from 1932, of course starring Boris Karloff in the title role as the Mummy, Imhotep. He is revived from his tomb by some archaeologists. There's one character who reads out the horrendous curse that is upon the box, and if anyone breaks the seal of the box, they're going to, receive the mummy's curse. And then another guy immediately is just like, cool, let's open it. And they open the box. He starts reading this scroll that they found, and the mummy comes to life and scares this guy so badly, he goes insane. He just, his mind snaps. He just starts laughing. The rest of the movie takes place 10 years later, and Boris Karloff is walking around. He's still the mummy, but he's disguising himself as an Egyptian named Ardith Bey, who is helping archaeologists to dig up the tomb of his, I guess she's his girlfriend. She's not really his wife. They never got married properly, but his ancient love from thousands of years ago, because he wants to bring her back from the dead or see her reincarnated in another woman or something like that. I will note he is only in the full mummy getup in that very first sequence, the first part of the movie when they open the tomb. Once we're at the 10 years later part, he still looks very mummified in his makeup, but he's also being a contemporary Egyptian. So if you're looking for a lot of like a mummy walking around with his arms out, covered with bandages and all of that, that is not this movie. This movie is a different movie than that. This is the first Mummy movie. It's also the first Universal Pictures monster movie that was not based on an existing piece of literature. The script was written because they were actually inspired by the discovery of King Tut's tomb, which was 10 years earlier in 1922. So I think that discovery really fired up a lot of people's imaginations, and Universal Pictures came out with this Mummy movie. This one, like The Wolfman, is a little bit weaker when it's compared, I think, to the other big Universal monster movies. Again, there's not quite enough monster in this one. It's more of a romance. It does have some really interesting parts and some really great performances by all of the actors who are in it. But again, a little bit less scary, not quite enough monster in this one. But if you are a completist, if you are a film historian like we are, you definitely want to watch this one. And then you can watch other Mummy movies that follow this one and kind of see how they built on each other. I'm not sure if I'm going to show the kids the remake yet. I actually do think that is probably one worth watching. You guys know I don't like remakes that much, but that one I think hold a little special place for that one. And I think we'll check that one out maybe later in the month or after the month is over and just do a little compare contrast with that one. The next night after that, we were supposed to watch Creature from the Black Lagoon, but that was the night one of the kids got sick. So we subbed in instead Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy from 1955. There were a whole bunch of these Abbott and Costello Meet one of the Universal Monsters movies made. They are all hilarious. I think Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is probably the best one, but boy, we had a ton of fun watching Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. The loose plot is they're kind of these bumbling Americans who are over in Egypt, and somebody needs somebody to transport a mummy from one place to another, and they want to have the job. Meanwhile, there's this like cursed medallion that goes with the mummy, and they're all about getting it because they want to have the treasure, but then they find out that it's cursed, and there's a hilarious scene where they're each trying to give the medallion to the other one by slipping it into their hamburgers that they're about to eat. And then this culminates with Costello accidentally eating the cursed amulet. And then they have to go through this whole thing where he gets like x-rayed, or maybe it's like a fluoroscope instead of an x-ray so they can read the engraving on the magic amulet and, unlock a treasure with that. The whole thing culminates with there being multiple mummies running around. There's the actual mummy who's come back to life, and then there's several characters who have dressed themselves up as mummies to confuse or outwit each other. And there's a very, very funny climactic scene with too many mummies running around in the scene. So that one's really fun, really funny. And if you like old comedy or comedy at all, I mean, this stuff is pretty timeless. I would definitely recommend it to you. If you've never watched an Abbott and Costello film, definitely give them a try. They are very funny. They're a very funny comedy duo. Very quick. I don't want to say quick-witted because it's all scripted, but quick-mouthed. They deliver lines very rapid fire at each other, and they just have great pacing and timing and comedic chemistry with each other. So Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, definitely check that one out if you are into any of those ideas I just talked about. The next night after that, we watched Mad Monster Party, this movie properly has a question mark at the end of its title. Mad Monster Party? This is the 1967 stop-motion animated Rankin Bass movie where we have all of the monsters from our classic Universal Pictures monster movies getting together for a party at the retiring Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory. He's played by Boris Karloff again. And we have the whole host of monsters. There's Dracula, there's the Wolfman, there's the Invisible Man, there's the Mummy, there's the Creature, there's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, there's the Hunchback. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but it's great. This is a hilarious comedy, musical, stop motion animation starring your favorite monsters, made by some of your favorite stop motion animators. Rankin Bass is the studio that brought you Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and The Year Without a Santa Claus and Frosty the Snowman. And of course, the only version of The Hobbit that matters, all done by that studio. So it's incredible. And then in addition to the work from the people at Rankin Bass, you also have, it's written by Harvey Kurtzman, and then the character designs are by Jack Davis from Mad Magazine. So it truly is a mad monster party. It's got a hilarious plot, great performances from the voice actors, great animation on the characters, great details, hilarious jokes, really good songs. Like any musical, it has a couple of songs that are a little bit out of place that kind of make you go, why am I sitting through this one? But it's an incredible movie. We love it. We watch it every year. The kids, we watched it and they were like, let's watch it again immediately. It's just an ultimate family favorite for us. We absolutely love this flick. So even if you skipped all of the classic monster movies that we've been watching, I would encourage you guys to watch Mad Monster Party because it is just such a fun one. And little kids will love this one. It's not scary at all. It's very funny, and it's a great, fun introduction to these monsters. So, Mad Monster Party. Oh, excuse me again. Mad Monster Party? You guys should definitely check that one out. We also found out there's actually a prequel that was made later on by the same studio. We've never seen it, so I'm looking that one up. We're going to watch it because I'm very excited to see more content based in that particular universe. The next night after that, we watched one of my favorite movies, getting away from the Universal monster movies, House on Haunted Hill from 1959, directed by William Castle and starring Vincent Price, one of my favorite horror actors. This is an incredible movie about an eccentric millionaire played by Price who has basically arranged for an insane sleepover party in a haunted house. He's going to pay all the guests $10,000 if they can make it through the night in this haunted house. But there's a lot of scary stuff going on in this house, including everybody's freaked out. Nobody knows each other. There's ghosts, ghouls, skeletons, a pit of acid in the basement. There might be a hanging or there might be a shooting, but maybe there's not. There's double and even triple crossing going on in this movie. It is incredible. It's one of the best low-budget horror movies ever made. It's apparently scarier than I think it is because when the kids were really little and we got them started on horror, we started with the Universal monster movies, and then I tried to show them this movie, and Henry, who was probably about 7 at the time, just freaked out and did not want to watch it, and we had to stop the movie. So it's not like gory or anything like that, but it just got him. It's very psychologically scary, and there are some ghosts and things in it. So check that one out if you've never seen it, and definitely do not check out the remake. No. 1959, directed by William Castle, starring Vincent Price, the original House on Haunted Hill. I did learn when I was doing my research yesterday that apparently Alfred Hitchcock was incredibly inspired by the House on Haunted Hill, and he said, wow, low-budget horror, this is great. I'm going to make my own low-budget horror movie. And then he made Psycho. So that's pretty cool. Man, check that movie out, you guys. It's a great one. The next night after that, we finally got our chance to watch Creature from the Black Lagoon. Of course, this movie is from 1954, directed by Jack Arnold. It is iconic. It is the kids' absolute favorite of all of the Universal monster movies. It is the latest out of all of them, coming from the mid-50s, and it's different tonally from the other one because this one takes place in the rainforest on the Amazon River down in Brazil, right? Totally different from like a castle in Transylvania or a watchtower or a windmill in Germany or whatever. It feels very different. but it also has a lot of those same kind of hallmarks of the other Universal monster movies. Of course, the star of this movie isn't a person, it's the creature himself. Everybody loves the creature from the Black Lagoon, otherwise known as the Gill Man. The loose idea of the plot is that some scientists have found a fossil that might be some sort of link between fish and people. And so they want to explore around the area and see if they can find more fossils of this creature. And they don't find any more fossils, but what they do find is a live one. He's been living in the Black Lagoon, existing there for who knows how long. And when people come into his sort of pristine area that doesn't normally have people in it, he doesn't like it very much and acts out. He smashes their stuff. He creates barriers for them. He tries to drag their lady friend off to a watery, I don't know if it's a watery grave he's intending for her, but drags her off under the water. It's an incredible movie. The costume design of the Gill Man himself is amazing. The underwater scenes are incredibly well done. I'm always stunned by them. And then I always have to remind myself when I'm watching it flat, this is actually a 3D movie. We've gotten to see it in 3D a couple of times at the movie theater. It has been awesome every time. So if you ever get a chance to see Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D, definitely do it. It's really, really fun. Of course, like with any movie that was filmed for 3D, when you watch it flat, you still can pick up on the things that are supposed to be coming right at you out of the screen. And they use it in some pretty fun ways in this movie. Great acting from just about everybody in the movie. I'm going to say that the guy who plays the boat captain, Lucas, probably steals the show for me. He's like second only to the creature himself in terms of performance. He's fantastic. Lucas is awesome, and he's always talking about himself in the third person, which is hilarious to me. So Creature from the Black Lagoon, that's another family favorite around here. And like I said, the kids' absolute favorite of all of the Universal movies that we've been watching. I have been, of course, interviewing them. How do you like this one compared to that one? Whatever. Both of them are right there with Creature, although Henry did say it's kind of a tie with Creature and Invisible Man. Sean, when I asked him, I said that he was going to say Frankenstein, and he surprised me by saying Bride of Frankenstein instead. But I do agree, even though it's not the first movie, it might be the better movie. I'm holding out for Dracula. I'm a huge Dracula fan. That's not till the end of the month, but that one is always my favorite. So you guys tell me, what's your favorite Universal monster or your favorite Universal monster movie? Because again, sometimes the monster itself is even better than the movie, like in the case of The Mummy. We finished our week last night with another Universal monster movie. This one was a little bit on accident. We had Bell, Book, and Candle on our watch list, but we can't find it on streaming. So we weren't able to watch that one. Luckily, we did watch it just a couple of years ago, so the kids do remember it. So we decided to substitute instead Son of Frankenstein from 1939, starring Boris Karloff again as the monster, Bela Lugosi as Igor this time, and he is fantastic and steals the show, and Basil Rathbone as the son of Frankenstein, Dr. Wolfgang Frankenstein, who has come back to the ancestral home to live there with his family ostensibly, but man, it takes him about 2 seconds to be convinced by Igor to resume his father's work up in the lab, of course. This is an interesting one because right away at the very beginning of the movie, they even make the joke about, is Frankenstein the name of the monster or the name of the doctor, which I thought was pretty funny. It's the other one, or the third one, that Young Frankenstein is the spoof of. It kind of, when we get to Young Frankenstein, which is going to be in a couple weeks, it's riffing on Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein. So if you really want to get all of the references and all of the things that Young Frankenstein is spoofing, you need to watch all 3 of those original Frankenstein movies. Again, really fun movie, great performances from all the principal actors. This one's got a really solid story, and man, the set design in this movie is fantastic. It's got It's great German expressionist feeling. The interiors of the castle where the Frankensteins are living are crazy. There's like all these lines and weird angles and just the most bizarre and unsafe looking staircase I think I've ever seen in my life that has a little kid running up it. It's an incredible set. So worth watching almost for the set design alone, but man, it's an incredible movie also. So that brings us to the end of our week. It's been a whole lot of Universal Monsters over the last 2 weeks, and now we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit and move towards another kind of section of our Halloween watch list. But I will note, as it stands right now, excuse me, we do have Boris Karloff in the lead for starring in 5 of the movies that we've watched so far. Claude Rains is coming in tied with Bela Lugosi. They've both been in 2 movies each. And Vincent Price is bringing up the rear with only 1. There's been a lot of people who've only been in 1 movie, but I do know we have more Vincent Price movies on our list. So by the time we get to the end, we'll see who has been starring in most of the movies that we watched this month. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. As usual, I would love to hear about what you watched this week or what you're planning on watching next week. Are you watching along with us on our Halloween watch list? Do you have your own Halloween watch list? Let me know in the comments down below. I love getting those comments. All right, I'll be back in a couple more days with another episode of my vlog. Until then, everybody, stay safe and take care. Thanks so much for watching.